Greetings, students. Welcome to your second Keywords and Concepts video this week for Spanish missions in California. So this Keywords and Concept video is about the concept of blood degree or blood quantum. This is going to come up in our documentary this week, so I want to make sure everybody knows what's going on here. So, brief history of this. As we all know, the United States federal government is a big fan of classifications, right? We like to be able to put people into groups and know where they belong. So, as the US was attempting to determine who was and who was not a real quote-unquote Indian, we came up with this idea of blood quantum. We didn't invent it, but it's uniquely American. Now, the rules are different for different tribes, but essentially a blood quantum is the amount of native blood you have. So if 3 of your 4 grandparents were native, then you have a 75% blood quantum, right? Whereas if only 2 of your 4 grandparents were native, you'd have a 50% one, right? There are different requirements for different tribes. Some tribes have literally no blood quantum. You do not have to be native at all to be in their tribes. Others have very, very high blood quantums. But I had the little thing in here, let's talk about why, and this is the important part. These tribes did not come up with this stuff on their own. They did not say, well, we're going to determine who is Cherokee and who is not by this DNA evidence that we now have available to us in the 19th and 20th centuries. No, that is not what they're doing. So what they're actually doing, for the most part, these requirements are to receive federal funds. So if you want to get money through the Bureau of Indian Affairs, you're often going to have to prove that you are indigenous, right? We don't require this of any other group of humans, just these folks. So that's where we start to get into why we have this idea of blood quantum. And it's very, very strange in the US just because typically if you have anything, any part of anything, you're considered partly that, right? We kind of pride ourselves on being a nation of mixed people. We're all kind of mutts and, you have some European, you have some African, you have some Asian, you have some whatever. Not when it comes to this. For some reason, we really need to be able to pick out who is who in indigenous folks' land. And this is a really contentious issue. If you get into any kind of native activism or anything else for right now, you're going to see so much discussion about this. And is it helpful or is it not helpful and that kind of thing. So this is an important concept as we're studying indigenous people, because this applies to all of indigenous people in America, at least. Canada is something similar, where we have these really strict requirements in order to be able to call yourself a certain thing. And it's kind of interesting. And we can discuss whether that's good or bad or indifferent in a separate video. But we won't, but we could. So that is blood degree or blood quantum. So when that comes up in our documentary, no one will be confused. It'll probably be on your exam too. This is kind of important. So we all know what we're talking about. All right, we finally get to the fun history bits. So I'll see you guys in the next video.